Hello there and welcome to a brand new episode of our very special program on the KTV2, and I hope everyone out there is enjoying their evening wherever you may be watching tonight's episode of Hala Kuwait. And we have a lot of great things going on right here in the state of Kuwait, and a lot of great reports to get to. The camera crew have been very busy filming all around the state of Kuwait. I'm Tariq Al-Arian, and we're coming to you live from the Ministry of Information studios right here in downtown Kuwait. And also we'll be having a very distinguished guest who will be talking about some very exciting and interesting subjects right here on our program. And our guest this evening will be Nasser Al-Buhairi, and Nasser is the head of the Kuwait Oil Company Emergency Response Coordination Unit, and he has received a lot of great achievements, distinguished awards and so forth. So let's take a look at some of the great achievements of our guest, and they'll be joining us right here in the studio very shortly, so stay tuned.
Courage, it's confidence, not just in himself and his abilities, but in all those around him and the person standing in his side, in his brotherhood. Until courage meets circumstances, until that moment when you go hand-to-hand combat with danger, with the fire, with the aggressor, there is no heroes. Emergency response, being a firefighter, a police officer, or a paramedic, it's not only a job, it's a way of life. For most of us, it's a childhood dream. They love the excitement of every alarm call they receive, standing there in the middle of the night doing the impossible. When everything is going wrong, you are the person, you are the one person coming to make it all right again. Helping others and putting your life, your goals, your dreams aside for the overall good, while still enjoying what you do. The emergency service has it all for us. It's his passion, but it's your worst nightmare.
Well, that was a great report about our guest that we have right here in the studio. We have with us this evening Mr. Nasser Al-Buhairi, and Mr. Nasser is the head of the Kuwait Oil Company Emergency Response Coordination Unit. Nasser, welcome to our program, Hala Kuwait.
Thank you very much, Tariq.
Nice to have you with us right here in the studio. We know you have a very busy schedule. We appreciate your time with us. And Nasser, you have a wide range of different experiences and achievements, as we saw in that intro there in that report. Can you give us a brief about your professional background, a little more please for our audience?
Well, thank you for having me here
Pleasure.
tonight with you, and to put the spotlight on our emergency responders, which I have the honor to represent them here tonight. Actually, I started my career in 1997 with Kuwait Navy, and that took me until 2006, where I left to the private sector, and I worked with multinational companies in and out of Kuwait. Came back to Kuwait in 2013 primary, and worked for some time with the Security Decision Follow-up Committee for the Council of Ministers, and where recently I work in the capacity of the Emergency Response Coordinator of KOC, Kuwait Oil Company.
Okay, so a wide range of experiences from about 1997, I think, and that was when you were in the military, the Navy specifically.
Yes.
So tell us now, you left the military at a relatively early stage and then shift to the private sector. So how was that change, that shift? We asked that to a lot of people who have been, let's say, government to private. How was that, Nasser?
Still call it the golden days of my life.
You enjoyed it very much?
A lot. I think it's the foundation for wherever I'm going to go. That was the start. However, in emergency management, we do everything the military do, except without the uniform. We think, we plan, we equip, we plan strategically and tactically for unknown threat or enemy, being a fire, man-made act, industrial incident, or natural disaster. The Navy really and my military career really shaped my teamwork and organizational skills. I learned how to look at things from the red team perspective to strengthen our preparedness and readiness. My work with the government level helped me to look at the strategic, the government side of the house. And most recently, my consultancy career really helped me to look at the role of the private sector in emergency and disaster recovery and what's the business interest of all what we do.
Nasser, you have a lot of great achievements and honors throughout your career. I understand that you recently came back from the United States after you took part in the International Leadership Program for Disaster Recovery and Emergency Management after being recognized by the U.S. State Department as one of the most influencing regional disaster recovery and emergency management specialists. So congratulations for being recognized in that field. Can you elaborate on that experience, please?
Yes, that's the International Leadership Visitor Program. I think the program was founded in 1940 in the United States with the objective to strengthen the United States relation with other countries by linking current and emerging leaders in their respected fields. I understand from my visit there that there is, from the people who finished the program, there is 300 either current or previous chief of state or head of government part of that. There is no obligation to apply for that. I was really surprised when I was called from the U.S. Embassy to say that I was selected. Usually the selection happens annually when staff from U.S. embassies around the world nominate
some people,
some people to do that, and then the selection happened by the Department of State back in Washington, D.C. I was honored to be the first Middle East, first person from the region, Middle East or North Africa, to be selected for the program, personally, and recognition for the state of Kuwait. During the program, it was a great opportunity for me personally to share the experience of Kuwait in general and specifically KOC in emergency management and disaster recovery. There was a lot to share. KOC were no different than anyone else. Everyone had their experience, their challenges, and their ways to face them. In KOC, we are no different. We had our challenges and our ways to share them.
So it was a rewarding experience then, Nasser.
Big one, actually.
And I know besides that, Nasser, you also were the first international officer ever to be awarded the Sword of Honor by Britannia, Royal Navy College of the Royal Navy. Elaborate on that great achievement, Nasser.
Was much younger at that time. Being with the Royal Navy really allowed me to participate in many operations and missions. That time I participated mainly in counter-narcotic operation between South America and North Atlantic. The human aid between Honduras and Nicaragua during Hurricane Mitch, which was rated as the second deadliest hurricane in the history of the Caribbean. And finally, I participated in a reconnaissance team after the explosion of Montserrat Island volcano. All this qualified me to be the first to be selected as the top officer cadet in the fleet at that time. And then after that, I was recognized to be awarded this, which was very exceptional things. I was honored to be recognized by the greatest Navy in the history, as they know it. My experience with the Royal Navy really shaped my leadership, my disciplines, my value, and especially how do I look at humanity and helping others. And that's which later I think led me to the emergency and disaster recovery.
Well, congratulations on these great achievements during your career, Nasser. And you recently completed your term as the International Emergency Managers Association representative in the state of Kuwait as the largest specialized international organization. Can you talk about the association present in Kuwait and its role in developing our culture or emergency management, please?
The International Association of Emergency Managers, as you said, it's the largest organization for emergency managers. And I just recently was selected as the representative in the state of Kuwait. To interact with international organization and think take us in Kuwait to the next level, and to move with the world, where are they going? And it's a good opportunity to share our experience and think from all the emergency services, either state, fire, police, or medical services also.
Nasser, now about your job here, you're the head of the Kuwait Oil Company Emergency Response Coordination Unit. So tell us a little bit about what does that consist of? Tell us about your daily routine, you and your colleagues and so forth.
Of course. In KOC, we really, in recent years, we adopted an all-hazard approach for emergency management. in one stop to shop, and that's the emergency coordination unit. And that's one of the biggest success and rolling model in Kuwait or in the region.
So tell us, what does that mean?
The emergency unit, it's, it consists, usually we are familiar with emergency services, either being fire brigade or police or medical services or whatever, all these services. The emergency unit is how we as an organization respond to undesired event as one unit. And this is very critical, in major incidents and things. There is no one incident you can respond to by yourself. You always need the collaboration and things like this. I think the most importantly what we learn from The Perfect Storm, either the book or the movie, I don't know which you like, I prefer the book honestly, that there is forces out there which are beyond our control, and that's the scariest part of our world today. Add to that the intention to cause harm imposed by security threats, that's the true nightmare of what we do. So we need to collaborate and work, and that's where emergency management comes from.
Yeah, how have you seen the team and everyone develop over the years at KOC?
Actually, there was a huge investment there. That started, of course, as a change management to build the culture. Actually, in KOC, the way we see it, we have very strong culture of risk ownership, and commitment to the organization. Every day we work very hard to assure the trust of our community, of us. So when something goes wrong, that we make sure that there is enough trust in the community, in the government, that KOC will recover and will take control back. That's why we always make sure that what our stakeholders expect from us, what our community expect from us, and we react instinctively, for these things.
Okay, now give our audience an example of some of the emergencies that you, your staff, the team may deal with on a daily, weekly. Give us an idea of a general day in the life of Nasser and his team.
As I said, the beauty
with some specifics, if you
the
don't
beauty
mind.
of our work, it's an all-hazard approach. But if I may talk about personal experience, I think two cases are really stick to my mind always. The first one was before I joined KOC, after I left the military, before I joined KOC. And at that time I was working as security manager for an international services company. And we had a client profile of companies which work, or international organization which work in high-risk area and war zone. That year, 4 of our employees became hostages in Darfur, in Sudan, actually in Kurdistan, not in Darfur. And I was deployed as a part of a 3-man team to negotiate their release. At that time, the negotiation and the situation, was very dynamic, but the odds played in our favor, and we got our people 3 weeks later.
That's great.
The main thing I always learn from that is even when you are talking, the situation might be changing.
It can change at any moment or any second.
Yeah, sadly, if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter how good you are or how clever you've been, it can bring your whole organization to its knees. Not just that, also in international companies, we have a lot of stories, brilliant companies, international companies who had their stories and people still talk about them until today.
So those are some of the...
Go ahead. And that's a situation you don't find yourself in every day.
Yeah.
The second one was in KOC about a year ago, where 2 of our colleagues had a car accident, off the road. A call came to our call center, the emergency call center, which is 160, and immediately people dispatched. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the incident, no one knew that they were in distress. The person who found them got hysteric from the scene he saw, so he had no idea where he was oriented. Emergency were dispatch services, brave people. They disregarded their personal safety at that day and everything. They done the impossible to find their colleagues. Sadly,
where was this, in the field somewhere?
In the field was off the road. This is the challenge of KOC. I always tease my counterparts in the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, who cover geographically more parts of Kuwait.
Sure.
Definitely we cover in KOC more geographic area.
Yes.
So at that time, people really dispatched. They done the impossible to find them. They managed to save one. Unfortunately, we lost a colleague in that day. But from that day, we made a commitment, to continuously work in enhancing our capability. Today, KOC embarked a huge program to use technology. And
tell us about that.
We invest a lot in satellite imagery, GIS, Geographic Information System, to track our units and things like this. We follow an integrated approach today, as I said, technology to serve people and strong procedures, something like this.
Okay, now what do you think other companies can learn from KOC's practices when it
Yes.
comes to this field, Nasser?
Honestly, I worked for many international companies,
Yes.
I think, but the first thing I learned from KOC
Sure.
is the leadership commitment. We have very strong buy-in from the leadership. We have very strong culture of risk ownership from our business units. We drive on that. We have very strong, we adapted a very strong and measurable and realistic training program, to develop our capabilities and resources. Unfortunately, it's not only oil and gas industry. If you make baby food, sadly, one day you're going to make bad baby food, poison baby food. If you fly airplane, one day those airplanes going to fall from the sky. So whatever you do, one day you're going to face a crisis. So it's always better, and we believe in that, to face the crisis during drills and exercises and learn from other people encounter, rather than facing them in real world where they're going to cost you a lot. And KOC, we take that very seriously.
And you just mentioned earlier the Ministry of Defense and Interior. You have a strong working relationship
Yes.
specifically with those two ministries?
Yes, we work every day in developing our collaboration, mutual support with this organization. There is this bond between us as emergency responders and the organization. As I said, there is forces and way much than what you can face by yourself. So collaboration is very critical. We need them when we have situation from their experience, their knowledge, their equipment, and it's work vice versa. KOC is one of the pillar of emergency and disaster recovery in the state of Kuwait, based on the huge experience, the vast experience we had from our career since the invasion all the way to our day-to-day, plus the capability. We are very proud to be that we are one of few countries around the world where our fighting capabilities give us the capabilities and the stand to respond to two major incidents at any time in the same time.
So emergency management is something that yourself specializes in.
Yes.
And now emergency management in Kuwait and in regard to the rest of the world. How is our level here?
Yes, as I said, we are very committed to our challenges, and to reach an international state of what we are doing.
Of the highest standard.
At the highest level, and it's a commitment. If we see it, the 2040 strategy of KBC, that's what we strive at national level. Today, we moved away from emergency response and emergency management. Today, there is a lot of talk about business resilience and business continuity, and that how to absorb the fair shock, and then continue with the essential services until we restore normality.
Okay. I know KOC is also pro-media. They're very active on social media, normal print and TV and so forth like that. So there's a lot of advantages in that when it comes to crisis management, and also some disadvantages. So Nasser, can you take some time to talk about this subject, please?
Yeah, that's the trick actually. Today we live in a very hyper-connected world. Believe it or not, we have more mobile phones than human beings on the planet. There is 2 billion shares and likes on Facebook, which I still use. Into that. So the world is really hyper-connected. Everyone has an opinion, and they have a way of sharing that opinion.
Expressing,
A lot of people talk about being ahead of the story. Unfortunately, with the speed the news move today, there is no way. So we always encourage in crisis communication, to create the story, to be transparent and to pass it. If we measure the world today, media and crisis management is like someone who have a feather pillow and he's shoveling it all over the place, and your job is to collect this feather. If we are measuring this that way, we're going to fail anyway. That's why we start to be, as long as we play in international roles, we have to be transparent, never deny a fact. Our reputation is very critical in KOC. A famous statement is China and the glass and reputation are easy to break, but very difficult to put together again. And in KOC, we take that very seriously every day.
Okay, it's good to do that, and nice to have you with us right here in the studio. I know your time is very precious, and you and your team are very busy. So what would you say is the #1 priority now of emergency management in the state of Kuwait?
I think it's interagency collaboration. In KOC, we spend a lot of time and investment in developing our capabilities. But as I said, there is forces there beyond our capabilities alone. The collaboration between state agencies, is very
Essential.
critical. Exchanging experience, especially with our colleagues in the State Fire Department, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Health, all other organizations is very critical to protect our national economy and our communities from any harms or aggressions.
Nasser, as we're coming towards the end of our interview, we have so much to talk about, but unfortunately we have some time constraints right here on our program, Hala Kuwait. So as we're winding up, what's the goals now, the team goals for the upcoming years?
Actually, the main objective is today we are moving, we have a very committed and strategic plan to move from emergency response to business continuity and and business resilience. Into that, actually, that's the plan we're going to do. We may talk about it, but the messages I want to pass is to thank all my colleagues in emergency response in the state of Kuwait, wherever they stand, protecting our country, our economy, and I would like to encourage our community, our people, to show the support they deserve and the respect they deserve. Remember those people who leave their houses, and at one stop when that continuous bell ring, all their life stop, their dreams, their objectives, the smile of their children fade in front of them, running behind that call, to save a stranger who they don't know, they never saw, sacrificing all for that. So they really
they deserve a big thank you and the uttermost respect. And we'd like to thank you, Nasser, for being our guest this evening. We wish you and your colleagues all the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nasser. You're the head of the Kuwait Oil Company Emergency Response Coordination Unit, and we appreciate your time with us. And we have a great report that Nasser and the team provided for us now dealing with the emergency services. So let's take a look at this report and then be back with some more of our segments right here on Hala Kuwait. Stay tuned.
Now more than ever, KOC emergency services are being held accountable for their responses, capabilities, worthiness, and effectiveness. When people hear the word emergency response improvement, they think of cool cutting-edge gadget designed to make their job easier.
In Kuwait Oil Company, we have undertaken an ambitious Lean Six Sigma program to achieve organizational excellence as part of KOC's strategic goals. As you know, Lean Six Sigma is an approach aimed to improve efficiencies, reduce errors and defects, and generate cost savings. Our objective is striving for excellence in performance, where we strengthen performance-driven and commercially focused culture that maximizes value and manages risks through very high standards, clear accountability, and efficiency of business processes, all within a dynamic organization. I am glad to announce that we have achieved great results from applying the Six Sigma in KOC, and I encourage all directorates to continue applying it to enhance the overall efficiency and performance in Kuwait Oil Company.
They alone do not make comprehensive solution. In KOC, they believe that emergency management effective program do not just fall from the sky. It's defined by a combination of delivery platform presented by people.
We are delighted to see the Lean Six Sigma methodology can be deployed to optimize cost and time and eventually enhance KOC process efficiency. Lean means speed and improved flow. Six Sigma means less variation and fewer defects. Implementing Lean Six Sigma maximizes the value generated by each business process and minimizes its weaknesses. Lean Six Sigma optimizes the process efficiency and effectiveness. KOC journey started in 2014 and was broken down into 3 waves to cover all KOC directorates. Business process projects in KOC were identified and captured through business relationship mapping to come up with value stream opportunities. Awareness sessions for all KOC directorates conducted, training for Lean Six Sigma 90 green belts and 25 black belt participants completed. That was along with executive training for 80 champions and process owners. Quality Assurance and Business Improvement Team is proud to announce the potential cost saving for Wave 1 and 2 of $1.4 billion. Finally, we are proud to be part of the Continuous Business Improvement mission and contributing in performance excellence strategic objective.
Now more than ever, KOC Fire Group is being held accountable for their response time performance and effectiveness. When people hear the word fire team response time improvement, they think of cool cutting-edge gadgets designed to make our jobs easier. But they alone do not provide a comprehensive solution. We in KOC believe that fire and rescue effective programs do not just fall from the sky. It's defined by a combination of delivery platforms, presented by people, technology, and procedure, supported by an effective culture. To achieve such a status, our crew must be vigilant and instinctive. We must choose to be proactive every day. By addressing those delivery platforms, this project achieves a comprehensive improvement in fire team response time and incident management efficiency, enhanced disaster recovery capabilities, better delivery of our stakeholders' expectations. As long as we operate in a high-risk environment such as the oil and gas industry, incidents will take place, and we will see our share of them. However, the outcome will depend on how we will respond, manage, and learn from them. Be confident, we are on watch.
Another key factor in enhancing their response capabilities is an effective culture. To achieve such a status, their crew must be vigilant and instinctive. They must choose to be proactive every day. By addressing those delivery platforms, they achieved a significant improvement in emergency response.
My project.
Well, we'd like to thank KOC, Kuwait Oil Company, for that report dealing with their emergency response unit. It was really a great report. Now we're going to move on to our last segment right here on Halak Kuwait this evening. And we're going to go take a look at our health segment. And this evening we're going to be talking about heart disease. So let's take a look at this segment and then be back to wind up tonight's episode. Stay tuned.
Heart disease is the single leading cause of death for both men and women. Once diagnosed, heart disease is a lifelong condition that needs ongoing management for people to live